Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into your shared sources to unearth the most compelling insights and surprising wisdom.
Glad to be diving in.
Today, we're returning to a really monumental work. I mean, one that opened the eyes of millions to the profound universal ideas of Joseph Campbell.
Yes.
His unforgettable conversations with Bill Moyers in The Power of Myth.
A classic, truly.
And this isn't just, a classic series locked away somewhere. It feels like a living gateway still to understanding these timeless stories that, well, they continue to shape our lives, individually, collectively.
It truly is remarkable. What strikes me, really, is how these conversations, even though they first aired decades ago, they just cut through all the superficial changes in society. They get right down to the fundamental patterns in human experience.
Yeah.
And these patterns, they're just as relevant today as they were in ancient times. It just shows the enduring power of myth, doesn't it? How it speaks to our deepest selves.
Absolutely. So our mission today, as always, is to be your guides. We'll help you sift through what's most important in this, well, rich tapestry of sources you've shared with us.
Connecting the dots, essentially, linking ideas that might seem separate.
Exactly, to illuminate a larger, more cohesive truth about, well, the human condition.
A big task, but a fascinating one.
And we've got an incredible array of material to work with today. I mean, everything from ancient spiritual texts, philosophical essays, contemporary psychological insights, even personal narratives.
A real mix?
All of it should help us peel back the layers of Campbell's enduring wisdom and hopefully understand how these ancient stories give us a kind of a vital framework for navigating a meaningful modern life.
A framework. That's a good way to put it.
So we're embarking on a deep dive into these timeless themes. We've got the universal arc of the hero's journey.
The big one.
Yeah, the profound role of ritual in human existence.
Crucial, often overlooked.
Then the surprising, sometimes challenging, symbolism of marriage and relationships.
Always complex terrain.
And, of course, that famous, ever-elusive quest to truly follow your bliss.
Yes, follow your bliss.
Right.
We definitely need to unpack that one.
The call to adventure, the universal hero's journey.
All right, let's dive right in then. Straight to the heart of Campbell's work. The hero's journey.
Right.
It's so much more than just, a convenient plot device in movies or books, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, far more.
Joseph Campbell showed it as this universal blueprint, a blueprint for transformation, an inner journey of growth, self-discovery, something we all kind of knowingly or unknowingly embark on throughout our lives.
That's the key, isn't it? Whether we realize it or not.
Yeah, it's the story of becoming who you were always meant to be, perhaps.
Absolutely. And when we look at the bigger picture, the hero's journey, like Campbell laid it out, it's less about the external stuff, slaying literal dragons.
Right, the fantasy tropes.
Exactly. It's much more about confronting our internal demons, overcoming those personal obstacles, transforming our own consciousness.
An internal landscape.
Precisely. It's a journey of deep self-discovery, spiritual maturation, really.
Yeah.
And you see it echoed through countless narratives, right? Ancient myths, religious stories, right up to our own lived experiences. It highlights that the most profound battles, they're often fought within.
Within, yeah. And our sources give us such a powerful, vivid example of this initial call to adventure in the story of Siddhartha.
Siddhartha, a perfect illustration.
We see his early life, privilege, comfort. But then this intense search for meaning kicks in.
Good discontent.
It prompts him to leave everything, his home, his family, to become a samana, an ascetic wanderer.
A radical move.
Totally. And even after gaining a lot of knowledge, the text tells us he still carried this new thirst, this unquenchable longing for something deeper.
Something more profound. Yeah.
He describes these moments of true bliss when he felt a path was opening up, an undeniable calling compelling him forward. The words were, go on, you are called upon.
Wow, that's powerful phrasing.
It's not just a gentle nudge, is it? It's an urgent summons, a powerful internal magnet pulling him towards the unknown.
Towards his destiny, in a way.
Yeah.
And what's particularly striking there, I think, is the contrast with his later period, after some initial successes.
Right.
He describes feeling worthless and empty. His path, he said, became even and dull, without a high goal, without thirst, without elevation.
Just sort of coasting.
Exactly. Content with small, lustful pleasures, and yet never satisfied. That phrase is so telling.
It really illuminates the challenge, doesn't it? Staying aligned with your authentic path.
It shows the call isn't just a one-time thing, not a single moment of aha,
Right, it's ongoing.
and an ongoing process of aligning with that deeper meaning. And often it requires moving beyond things that were previously satisfying, even successful.
Yeah. So true fulfillment isn't just meeting basic needs or finding temporary contentment.
No, it's dynamic. It's an evolving state of being. And many of us, I think, well, you can relate to that feeling, can't you? Being seemingly content, but still yearning.
Oh, definitely. That restless longing for something more. Or that dull period, like you said, of being seemingly okay with small pleasures, but never really fulfilled. It's a universal human experience, I think. We've all felt that little gnawing sense that there should be more, that we're missing something essential to our own story.
Even when everything on the surface looks fine.
Exactly. Even when outwardly successful. It reminds me that the hero's journey often starts not with a bang, but with that inner stirring, that quiet discontent that eventually just gets too loud to ignore.
Precisely. And the journey isn't always, clear sailing or instant gratification. Sometimes it involves profound darkness.
Ah, yes. St. John of the Cross.
Right. In his timeless work, Dark Night of the Soul, he describes a very different kind of journey, but just as profound. He talks about souls entering this dark night as they transition, moving from beginners in the spiritual life to contemplatives.
Aiming for divine union, he calls it.
Divine union, which refers to that state of complete spiritual oneness with God, right? That direct, unmediated connection.
Yeah, and it's not presented as an easy path, is it?
Not at all. It's one of intense internal struggle, purification, a spiritual crucible, really.
He paints such a vivid, almost paradoxical picture, this dark night, as a necessary stage for deep spiritual growth. It's a time where God, as he puts it, makes it to die to all that is not naturally God.
Stripping away the non-essential.
Leading to strengthened virtues, a profound liberty of spirit. But the darkness itself, it isn't a lack of light, is it?
No, that's the paradox. It's more like being overwhelmed, blinded by an immense spiritual light that just transcends our natural understanding.
Like looking at the sun.
Exactly. He uses that stunning analogy. The nearer a man approaches the sun, the greater are the darkness and the affliction caused him, through the great splendor of the sun and through the weakness and impurity of his eyes.
Wow. So the sheer intensity of the divine light is so overwhelming, our limited human faculties just perceive it as darkness.
And that creates this profound, purifying experience. It strips away everything that isn't essential, like an intellectual blind spot caused by a spiritual supernova, you could say.
That image really does highlight the transformative nature of this phase. It makes you think critically, doesn't it, about how deep spiritual growth often involves this intense purification, even suffering.
A radical restructuring of the self, where the old comforts, the beginner stuff, is stripped away to make room for something far greater.
And this stripping away finds a powerful echo in another text, Theologia Germanica.
Ah, yes, with its assertion that nothing burneth in hell but self-will.
Right. That text suggests our attachment to our own individual desires, our ego-driven motives, our self-will. That's the very root of our internal conflict and suffering.
So connecting that to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
it frames self-will as the fundamental source of inner conflict, personal suffering. The journey then becomes this deliberate dismantling of self-centeredness.
Letting go of me, me, me.
Right. Seeking only the praise and glory of God and His holy will to achieve true freedom. It's about letting go of that small self, the ego, to align with a larger, more divine will, and ultimately finding liberation in that surrender.
Which isn't weakness, is it? That surrender, it's profound strength.
Precisely. And this idea of necessary loss or surrender for growth, it's beautifully amplified by Richard Rohr in Falling Upward.
Ah, Rohr.
He offers that powerful insight. You will and you must lose at something.
You must lose.
Right. This is the only way that life, fate, God, grace, mystery can get you to change. Let go of your egocentric preoccupations and go on the further and larger journey.
Wow. So he's suggesting these challenges, these things we see as failures, they aren't punishment.
No. They're crucial mechanisms for our deeper evolution. Designed perhaps to pry us away from our comfortable, often limited, egocentric ways.
That's a truly reframing perspective. It takes challenges, failures, and sees them not as just setbacks, but as crucial stumbling stones.
Redirecting us.
Redirecting our personal hero's journey when we've gotten too attached to our ego patterns. It's an invitation, then, to a further and larger journey.
A necessary rerouting. opening up new, unexpected paths. Not just punishment for messing up.
It's like the universe, or fate, gently, or sometimes not so gently,
Right.
pushing us towards our true potential.
And the hero's journey isn't always solitary, is it? We also see it unfolding on a collective scale.
Black Elk speaks.
Exactly. A poignant account of this. Black Elk, the Oglala Lakota holy man. He recounts his queer feeling before big events, hearing voices.
And his powerful vision of the horse nation.
Right. And this wasn't just a personal spiritual trip. It happened during a time of immense despair for his people.
Facing broken treaties, starvation, the destruction of their way of life.
Unimaginable hardship.
Yeah.
So in that context, his visions, his participation in the ghost dance, they became a voice for a good new world, calling on the departed ones to bring renewal and hope.
It's an incredibly moving example, isn't it? How shared despair and collective visions can shape a communal hero's journey towards transformation.
Especially when facing that level of suffering and broken promises, like the government repeatedly breaking treaties. The power of myth can rally hope. It provides a unifying narrative. It sustains a people through unimaginable suffering.
It shows how the individual journey often intertwines with the fate of the whole community, doesn't it? Becoming a source of resilience, collective spirit.
Black Elk's experience wasn't just his own, it was a beacon for his people.
Yeah. Now, shifting from those outward quests to a deeply internal, heroic act, the untethered soul.
Ah, yes. Michael Singer.
It talks about the profound importance of letting go, of falling back behind the energy when our inner state gets disturbed or defensive.
Not engaging directly with the turmoil.
Right. The mind, it says, is simply a computer, a tool, not the guilty party for our suffering.
That perspective offers a different kind of heroism, doesn't it? One that involves internal discipline, unwavering awareness, rather than external struggle.
A subtle resistance against our own turbulent mental habits, our reactive patterns.
It really encourages critical thinking about how we engage with our inner experience. It suggests that everything will be okay as soon as you are okay with everything.
That's a challenging idea.
It is, but it points to this subtle internal heroism of disengagement, choosing not to let disturbed energies or chaotic thoughts control us.
Recognizing the mind as a tool, not the master.
Exactly. Choosing not to identify with every fleeting thought or emotion, and thereby creating a space of inner peace, independent of what's happening outside.
Okay. And finally, we even see this timeless hero's journey motif steeped in ancient wisdom in the gospel parallels.
Where Jesus speaks those evocative words.
Get in through the narrow door. Many will try to get in, but only a few get through it.
A classic metaphor. Initiation. Trial.
Right. The path to true understanding or salvation. It's inherently challenging. It demands deliberate choice, focused effort, often significant sacrifice.
It really reinforces the idea that the journey of profound transformation isn't always easy. It's not obvious.
Yeah.
It frequently requires us to shed old ways, old attachments, old identities, just to pass through that narrow door into a new state of being.
It's a profound call to discernment, isn't it? To choose the path of authenticity over the path of least resistance.
Well put. Authenticity over ease.
Sacred spaces enwrites the power of ritual.
Now here's where it gets really interesting, I think. How do we ground these grand, transformative journeys, these epic hero quests in our daily, ordinary lives?
The practical application.
And that's where ritual comes in. And it's not just about, big ceremonies or ancient traditions anymore.
No, it's more fundamental.
It's like a basic human need to structure and express meaning, to give tangible form to the ineffable, connect us to something larger.
What's truly illuminating is that rituals aren't just ancient relics stuck in museums or history books.
Right.
They are absolutely vital practices. They connect us to deeper meanings, to the sacred, and that could be elaborate communal ceremonies
Or just personal, quiet routines.
Exactly. They provide that crucial bridge between the mundane and the transcendent, giving us a tangible, repeatable way to engage with the symbolic dimensions of life.
Imbuing our existence with purpose.
Yeah. And 12 Major World Religions offers a glimpse into this. It tells us that in Shinto, rituals are of utmost importance.
Utmost importance.
These involve specific patterns: purification, prayer, offerings, performed diligently, whether it's at a grand shrine or just a simple home altar.
All relating to the worship of kami.
The kami. Those divine spirits or deities embodying nature, ancestors, great leaders. It's fascinating, isn't it, that Shinto priests, the Shinshoku.
The ones who serve the kami.
Right. They can be male or female. They're allowed to marry, have families.
Which shows how deeply integrated these sacred practices are into the daily fabric of life, doesn't it? Intertwined with family, community.
Yet accessibility of the priesthood. It speaks to a different approach to the sacred. One that's not necessarily separated from worldly life, but kind of embraces it.
Yeah. And it's compelling to contrast that with other traditions, like in Shia Islam. Followers sometimes combine the 5 daily prayers of Salafeller, the ritual prayers, cornerstone of Muslim worship, right?
5 times a day, facing Mecca.
Yeah. They sometimes combine them into 3 prayer times.
An adaptation within a structured practice.
Right. And that immediately raises the question, how do important traditions, even within the same faith, create and adapt these structures for devotion?
And what do these varied practices, these subtle shifts in ritual, reveal about their core beliefs? About the relationship they seek with the divine?
It shows that dynamic interplay between tradition and practical application.
It really does. And it makes you reflect on your own life, doesn't it?
Totally. Think about the subtle, maybe unconscious rituals you have.
Your morning coffee routine.
Yeah. Or the way you prepare a special meal. An evening walk, maybe?
How do these small, repeated actions anchor your day? Do they connect you, perhaps, to something beyond the mundane?
Even these seemingly small personal routines can become sacred acts, can't they? If approached with intention, with awareness.
Giving structure and meaning to the everyday. Absolutely. And these personal rituals, when they're imbued with meaning, they can echo the power of the grander communal ones.
Like in the case for God. We learn that the rituals of Gilgal, things like the communal eating of unleavened bread and roasted corn, were absolutely instrumental in forming the foundational myth of the Exodus from Egypt.
Which reveals that profound truth about the relationship between ritual and myth. They're not separate.
No, they're mutually reinforcing.
The act of performing the ritual made the myth real and tangible for the people doing it.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, it demonstrates how rituals aren't just reenactments, not just historical plays. They actively create and reinforce the foundational myths of a people. They shape their understanding of history, their collective identity, their place in the world.
They become living, evolving narratives, breathing life into shared beliefs, giving them tangible expression.
The act of participation itself makes the myth immediate, a felt reality, binding people to a shared past, a common future.
Building that sense of continuity, belonging, yeah. But on the flip side, we can also see what happens when ritual's power diminishes.
Right. Charles Taylor in Our Secular Age.
He critiques the Protestant Reformation, arguing it kind of disenchanted the world.
How so?
By shifting the focus from God understood and experienced through shared rituals, an enchanted cosmos, to a more individual intellectual faith, often disembodied.
And this disenchantment can lead to a sense of profound loss, right? Severing our connection to a richer, more embodied spiritual experience.
Taking the magic out of the everyday, in a sense.
It really highlights the potential loss of ritual's communal power and its implications for modern meaning-making.
It suggests that when we lose those embodied, shared rituals, the collective acts that bind us together, connect us to the sacred January, we might lose a profound way of experiencing community, wonder, a deeper connection.
The shift to a purely intellectual or individual faith, it might have its merits, but it could inadvertently diminish that collective felt experience of the divine.
Leaving a spiritual void, perhaps, that many in our secular age are now struggling to fill.
Yeah. Now, the Bhagavad Gita offers another really fascinating perspective on ritual. It kind of expands our understanding beyond just ceremonies.
Right. We encounter Sanatana Yoga, which translates as eternal activities.
Eternal activities. And these include 2 divisions of sacrificial actions.
Yeah.
One involving material possessions.
Like offerings, charity.
And the other involving knowledge of self, internal disciplines.
Right. And these eternal activities can manifest in all sorts of practices. Celibacy for some, disciplined household life for others.
Controlling the senses, studying the Vedas.
All explicitly based on regulated action. So it moves beyond simple ceremony to encompass this disciplined, intentional approach to your whole life.
What's particularly profound there is how sacrifice gets reframed. It's not just about giving something up like a material object.
No, it's presented as a focused, disciplined action with a specific spiritual objective.
A form of ritualized self-cultivation.
Exactly, where your entire life, every conscious effort can become an offering on the path to self-realization, understanding the supreme personality of Godhead.
It's about consciously directing every action, mundane or sacred, towards that higher purpose, transforming mere existence into a purposeful spiritual journey.
This highly structured, almost alchemical approach to spiritual practice.
Ah.
You see it exemplified further in the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Oh, yes. That text meticulously details these elaborate preliminary practices for aspiring tantric practitioners.
And they aren't just casual things you do now and then. They're intensive, repeated efforts to transform the inner landscape.
Right. Analytical meditations on fundamental truths. The value of human birth, death, impermanence, karma.
Intellectual insights paired with purificatory practices. Taking refuge in the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha.
Cultivating altruistic intention, mantra recitation, intricate mandala offerings.
It's incredibly detailed,
Yeah.
which immediately makes you wonder, right? How explicitly are these practices designed to purify specific negative emotions? Pride, envy, aversion, attachment, delusion.
It reveals this highly structured, almost scientific approach to inner transformation through ritualized action.
Preparing you not just for daily life, but for the profound experiences of the intermediate state after death.
The Bardo, that transitional realm between death and rebirth in Tibetan Buddhism.
Exactly. Each practice meticulously targets a particular internal obstacle, transforming it through focused effort, clear intention. It shows a deep understanding of human psychology and spiritual evolution.
Now shifting to an even more internalized form of ritual, the way of a pilgrim.
Ah, the Jesus prayer.
It emphasizes that man's spiritual salvation depends on prayer. And this prayer, the text says, gives life to faith, and through it, all the virtues are acquired.
It goes even further, doesn't it? Advising the pilgrim to isolate yourself completely from the world and divest your soul of any empathy for the body.
Becoming without a city and without a home.
It's a radical call to interiority, where the most profound ritual is a continuous internal state of devotion, cultivated almost regardless of external circumstances.
Turning your entire being into a prayer.
What's truly captivating is that radical call to interiority, where unceasing prayer, that constant inner dialogue or presence, is said to open the innermost eyes of the heart.
It highlights a form of ritual that's far less about external form, ceremony, or even community, and much more about a continuous internal state of devotion. It suggests the deepest sacred space can ultimately be found within yourself.
Through an unwavering dedication to inner connection, even if it means letting go of worldly attachments and a conventional life.
It's an inner pilgrimage, really, redefining what it means to live a spiritual life.
The dance of connection, marriage, and relationships as mythic encounters.
Okay, so we've explored these grand journeys, the power of ritual. What does this all mean for our most intimate connections?
Right. Marriage, relationships, often seen as intensely personal choices, driven by individual desire, but they take on this surprisingly mythic resonance when you look at them through Campbell's lens, don't they?
They really do. They become these profound stages for our own personal dramas, our triumphs, reflecting universal patterns that have been playing out for millennia.
So, connecting this to the bigger picture, these sources reveal relationships as truly profound arenas for self-discovery, for transformation.
It's within these connections that our deepest fears, our most profound yearnings, our unexamined patterns, they all play out.
Often mirroring ancient archetypes, deeply ingrained societal structures.
Exactly. Relationships are where we really test our capacity for vulnerability, for love, compassion, growth.
We evolve not just as individuals, but as interconnected beings, constantly shaping and reshaping each other.
And in The Courage to Create, the psychologist Rollo May, he identifies two fundamental fears that are almost inherent in intimate relationships.
Ah, yes, the two fears.
Birth fear, the fear of losing yourself, being overwhelmed or subsumed by the other.
Losing autonomy.
And death fear, the fear of being totally absorbed, of ceasing to exist as an individual.
The fear of merging completely.
Right. These, he says, are the forms of anxiety that lie in wait for anyone who cares for another.
It's that constant push and pull, isn't it, between keeping your independence and achieving deep connection. It defines so much of our relational struggle.
A timeless dance between merging and differentiating.
Yeah.
May's insight gives us this really critical psychological lens for understanding those complex dynamics.
It frames conflict not just as disagreement over, who left the cap off the toothpaste,
Right.
but as this oscillation between fundamental human anxieties, maintaining identity versus achieving connection.
It encourages us to think critically about those internal tensions that shape our interactions, revealing them as an inherent, almost mythic, part of the relational journey we all navigate.
And these fears aren't weaknesses, are they? They're deeply human responses to vulnerability.
Exactly. And building on that, Eric Fromm, in The Art of Loving,
Yeah.
he examines the profound impact of fatherly and motherly principles on our relational lives.
Okay.
He notes how imbalances or confusion in those early roles, even from childhood, can lead to deep-seated neuroses in adulthood.
Like what?
Well, for example, he suggests a one-sided, overbearing father attachment might lead to obsessional behavior, while an extreme mother-centeredness, lacking those fatherly principles of guidance and discipline, could manifest as hysteria, alcoholism, or just a general inability to cope with life's demands.
Wow. That really highlights the deep, often unconscious patterns that shape our ability to connect and thrive in relationships.
What's truly fascinating is how deeply these early relational dynamics, especially with parents or caregivers, can unconsciously shape our adult struggles, forming healthy connections, achieving emotional well-being.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it, that our personal histories, these early family myths we absorb, they're a powerful underlying script we often live out.
Frequently without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Unpacking and understanding those formative myths is a crucial, heroic step in understanding our adult selves and improving our capacity for love.
Now, shifting gears to a more provocative perspective, conversations with God.
Yes. Neil Donald Walsh.
It presents a very direct take, stating that our invention called marriage may not always take us to eternal bliss. In fact, it suggests that, much like religion sometimes, it can eventually lead us where you say you don't want to go.
That's a stark, almost challenging warning, isn't it, about the often unrealistic expectations we place on institutions and on our partners.
So it's important to clarify, this isn't a condemnation of marriage itself, is it?
No, not necessarily. It seems more like an observation about a faulty construction, or maybe in an unexamined approach, when marriage isn't serving its intended higher purpose.
It's a call to critical thinking, then, about whether our relationship structures and our personal expectations within them.
Right. Do they truly enable us to recreate yourself anew in every moment in the grandest version of the greatest vision ever you had about who you really are?
That's the benchmark.
It challenges us to examine if the form of marriage we choose is truly serving highest purpose for our evolution, or if it's become a constraint.
In a similar vein, the Four Agreements offers a stark, maybe uncomfortable insight that resonates here.
Don Miguel Ruiz.
Humans are addicted to suffering at different levels and to different degrees, and we support each other in maintaining these addictions.
Oof. That's a tough one.
It goes further, suggesting that if someone needs to be abused, they'll subconsciously find it. And conversely, if you're with people who need to suffer, something in you makes you abuse them.
It implies this deep, often hidden dynamic of unconscious collusion in relationships, keeping us trapped in familiar pain.
It really raises an important question, doesn't it? About these powerful, often unacknowledged, unconscious patterns.
How do our unexamined agreements, the beliefs we hold about ourselves, about others, and our internal conflicts manifest in our connections?
And crucially, how can we break these destructive cycles to avoid turning every situation into the same painful drama as the one before?
It points to a deep, often unseen aspect of relational dynamics, where our inner world is constantly projected onto our closest relationships, creating this repetitive, often painful loop.
Until we become conscious of it.
Right. Until we wake up to the pattern. Now, bringing a scientific lens to these early relational patterns, the body keeps the score.
Bessel and Erkolk, yes. It delves into the profound impact of insecure attachment in infants. We learn that children with avoidant attachment, for example, they might look outwardly unfazed by separation from a caregiver.
Appear calm on the surface.
But internally, they show chronically increased heart rates, a clear physiological sign of distress.
While others are chronically upset and demanding.
And these deeply ingrained patterns, the text explains, are often linked to unresponsive caregivers, those who dislike touching their children or are emotionally unavailable.
It's a stark reminder of how early experiences, literally shape our capacity for connection, our nervous systems, our very sense of self.
This is a powerful science-backed example, isn't it? How early relationship patterns, even at a physiological, neurobiological level, they lay the foundation.
The groundwork for our later capacity for connection, emotional regulation, resilience.
Trauma survivors, for instance, they often learn to numb themselves to avoid pain or, conversely, engage in sensation-seeking just to feel something.
Anything. And that profoundly impacts their ability to form healthy, authentic bonds as adults. Our very biology, it turns out, gets encoded with the myths and experiences of our earliest relationships.
Shaping our relational destiny until we consciously intervene.
Now, James Baldwin, in The Fire Next Time, he gives us this deeply personal, poignant account of how racial injustice fundamentally distorts human connection.
A very different kind of distortion, but just as profound.
He describes an indescribable struggle for humanity, leading to this profoundly painful state where, as he puts it, most Negroes cannot risk assuming that the humanity of white people is more real to them than their color.
That's a searing insight. A real-world example of how external societal structures, rooted in historical myths and prejudices, can poison the well of human interaction, erode fundamental trust.
Baldwin's words convey the immense difficulty of forming genuine connections when your very humanity is constantly questioned.
His insights provide a stark, real-world example of how societal myths and historical wounds can profoundly distort connection and trust on a grand scale.
It brings a critical dimension to understanding the difficulties of human relationships, showing how the idea of integration can feel like, as he put it, entering a burning house.
Yeah.
It powerfully illustrates how deeply ingrained collective narratives of power and oppression, these cultural myths affect the most intimate aspects of human interaction. Our fundamental capacity for empathy, genuine connection, creating chasms that feel almost impossible to bridge.
And finally, Campbell himself, in The Power of Myth, draws our attention back to the ancient world.
Right. He talks about the prominence of the mother goddess in early mythologies.
Followed by the rise of more male-oriented mythologies with the Indo-Europeans.
But then the fascinating return of the goddess in texts like the Upanishads, where Maya Shakti Devi, representing creative cosmic power, instructs the Vedic gods.
And Bill Moyers, in their conversation, then asks about that basic yearning of men and women for each other.
Which puts our individual relationships into this much larger cosmological context, doesn't it? Suggesting our personal yearnings echo these ancient universal forces.
What's truly fascinating is how these ancient myths describe a cyclical, dynamic dance between masculine and feminine principles.
Not just as gender roles, but as fundamental cosmic energies.
Reflecting a deeper yearning, maybe not just between individuals, but for a fundamental balance of energies within the cosmic order itself.
Right. Campbell notes that the ultimate mystery, the divine ground, is often represented by Brahman, a neuter noun in Sanskrit, suggesting a unified source beyond gender distinctions.
A complete wholeness.
So this implies that our human yearning for connection, for wholeness in relationship, it's a profound reflection of a fundamental cosmic drive towards integration, balance, unity.
It's a mythic quest playing out in our everyday love lives.
Exactly.
Charting your own course, following your bliss in a modern world.
Okay, let's turn to perhaps Campbell's most famous, most quoted phrase, following your bliss.
Yes, the big one.
On the surface, it sounds simple, doesn't it? Almost idyllic, like a carefree pursuit of happiness.
Easy peasy.
But as we delve into these sources, it's revealed as something much more profound. A challenge, really. A demanding quest to align with our deepest purpose.
Especially in a world teeming with distractions, conflicting messages, societal pressures.
Right. True bliss, as we're seeing, isn't about easy pleasure. It's often about courageous self-realization, deep authenticity.
When we connect this to the bigger picture, following your bliss really isn't about fleeting happiness or superficial gratification.
No.
Instead, it's about authentic self-expression. And that often requires immense courage, unwavering presence, a crystal clear understanding of our unique purpose.
Even when it means going squarely against the grain, against conventional wisdom, societal expectations.
It's about finding that deep resonance within, that inner compass that guides our actions, our choices, even when the path is difficult or unpopular.
And Conversations with God offers a powerful, almost radical articulation of this path. It states that the purpose of all of life is pretty expansive.
What does it say?
To decide and to declare, to create and to express, to experience and to fulfill who you really are, to recreate yourself anew in every moment in the grandest version of the greatest vision ever you had about who you really are.
Wow. That's a deeply empowering, almost intimidating vision of self-authorship, isn't it? Continuous evolution.
It's an invitation to step into the role of creator of your own existence.
It really is a radical call to self-authorship, placing the responsibility and the power of creation squarely in the hands of the individual. And it emphasizes that profound shift from a sales to service mentality as the pathway to true abundance, encouraging us to think critically about our deepest motivations.
Moving from self-serving values to a desire to serve others.
Right. Because, as the text provocatively states, in the realm of consciousness, we only get to keep what we give away.
So true bliss emerges not from grasping and accumulating.
No, but from an outward flow of self-expression and contribution, giving back.
Ralph Waldo Emerson's essays offer a remarkably similar sentiment, don't they?
Yeah.
Echoing this wisdom from a different tradition.
Ah, Emerson. Yes. Only in our easy, simple, spontaneous action are we strong.
And by contenting ourselves with obedience, we become divine.
He suggests that by consciously placing yourself in the stream of power and wisdom, you are, without effort, impelled to truth, to right, and a perfect contentment.
It speaks to a profound trust in an inherent guiding wisdom, doesn't it? An almost gravitational current that, if we surrender to it, will effortlessly lead us
to our true path and purpose. It's about letting go of forcing things and allowing that natural flow.
What's truly fascinating here is the emphasis on aligning with a higher law, trusting intuition.
Rather than relying on painful intellectual calculations or willful, ego-driven choices to find your fit place and congenial duties.
It's about letting go of the overthinking, allowing grace to guide you, recognizing that life itself has a natural flow we can tap into.
When we surrender the ego's incessant need for control and just allow ourselves to be guided by inner wisdom, it's a powerful argument for trusting your gut.
Yeah. Now, Tara Brach's radical acceptance offers a more contemporary approach to finding peace and thus a form of bliss right here, right now.
In the present moment.
The only way to live is by accepting each minute as an unrepeatable miracle.
An unrepeatable miracle, I like that.
This profound acceptance, she explains, involves cultivating the two wings of clear recognition and compassionate presence.
Recognition and presence.
It's a call to be fully, lovingly present with whatever arises, instead of constantly striving for some idealized future or resisting the reality of the now.
This approach raises an important question, doesn't it? How can we achieve profound bliss? Not through striving for unattainable perfection or constantly trying to control everything, but by loving ourselves into wholeness, letting go of the habitual vigilance that so often keeps us trapped in resisting life.
It's about being fully present to what is, rather than being perpetually preoccupied with what should be.
Finding a deep, liberating freedom in complete acceptance of the present moment, even its challenges.
Yeah. And Julie Cameron, in The Artist's Way, makes a bold, very relevant statement about pursuing bliss.
Creativity as a spiritual path.
Right. To kill your dreams because they are irresponsible is to be irresponsible to yourself.
Powerful.
She profoundly reframes creativity, sees it not as just a hobby, but as a gift from God, and its authentic use as a gift to God.
That elevates creative expression, doesn't it? From an optional pastime to a spiritual imperative, a necessary part of following your bliss, fulfilling your divine potential.
It absolutely champions the following your bliss mantra, framing creative expression not as self-indulgent luxury, but as spiritual imperative, a core path to self-acceptance, deeper connection.
And it keenly acknowledges that restlessness that can set in even after you achieve success if your creative spirit isn't fed.
Constantly pushing us to continue our creative evolution.
It implies the journey of self-expression's spiritual unfolding. It's never really complete, is it? It's a constant, joyful process.
Now, Sam Harris, in Waking Up, describes mindfulness differently, as a passion for discerning what is subjectively real in every moment,
leading to experiencing more clearly.
Right. And the ultimate goal of this practice, he explains, is to realize the intrinsic selflessness of consciousness, to transcend the illusion of a separate, fixed self.
It's a very contemporary, secular approach to spiritual awakening, isn't it? Emphasizing direct experience, scientific inquiry into consciousness.
When we connect this to the bigger picture, Harris offers a powerful contemporary path to inner bliss or enlightenment.
Achieved not through dogma or external pursuits, but through rigorous, direct observation, cutting through the illusion of the self.
to find a wider, more expansive field of consciousness.
It's presented as an experiment you have to conduct for yourself, relying on your own direct experience and insight rather than just accepting received wisdom.
A personal, empirical journey into the depths of your own mind.
Exactly. Now for something completely different, the Tao of Pooh.
Pooh. It introduces that enchanting concept of the uncarved block.
Beautifully exemplified by Winnie the Pooh himself, who just is it, right? Without needing to analyze or describe it.
And it contrasts this natural state with the human mind, which tries too hard, wears itself out, and ends up weak and sloppy.
Separating us from the world of reality, the world of natural laws, it speaks to the elegant simplicity, the profound wisdom of intuitive living, a true path to effortless bliss.
It really encourages critical thinking about how our constant over-intellectualization, our striving, how it can actually hinder us.
Hinder us from simply being, intuiting our path, like Pooh effortlessly following the calling of honeypots.
Trusting his inner wisdom without a map.
We too can find our way by aligning with that natural simplicity. It's a gentle yet profound reminder, isn't it? That sometimes the deepest wisdom, the clearest path to bliss,
Lies in simplicity. Unforced alignment with the natural flow of life, not endless analysis.
Exactly. And Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now gives a very direct, practical definition of enlightenment.
Right, the end of suffering and of continuous conflict within and without.
Liberation from incessant thinking.
He argues the mind, when it becomes our master, creates this opaque screen, blocking true relationship with our authentic self, with others, nature, God.
It's a powerful diagnosis of the source of so much modern pain.
What's profoundly insightful is the direct connection Tolle makes between identifying with the mind's incessant activity and our experience of inner pain and suffering. He posits that true bliss, true peace, emerges from toppling the mind from its place of perceived power.
And allowing being, our deeper, essential nature, to reveal itself.
He offers simple, accessible practices too, like conscious breathing.
Helping us get in touch with the inner body, overcoming the mind's relentless chatter, essentially stepping back from the incessant mental activity to find a deeper, more peaceful presence.
And finally, going way back, the meditations of Marcus Aurelius.
The Stoic bedrock.
We find that powerful call to a unique form of bliss. Love and desire, that alone which happens to you, and is destined by providence for you, for what can be more suitable.
It's ancient, incredibly powerful wisdom, offering this challenging path to contentment, unshakable inner peace, regardless of external events.
This is an ancient, powerful articulation of finding contentment and purpose, a true, enduring form of bliss by radically embracing fate.
Amor fati, love of fate.
And resolving to be a good man in all your actions, regardless of circumstances.
It's about finding inner peace, inner freedom, through acceptance of what is, combined with virtuous action. Recognizing our ultimate power lies not in controlling outcomes,
but in consciously choosing our response to whatever life brings.
It's a profound declaration of inner sovereignty.
Oh.
Wow.
We have truly been on an expansive journey today. A deep dive through the transformative path of the hero. The grounding, shaping power of ritual.
Crucial.
The mythic dimensions woven into our most intimate relationships.
Always complex.
And the profound, often challenging quest for following your bliss.
And when we connect all of this to the bigger picture, the enduring power of these ancient stories, these spiritual insights so brilliantly brought to life by Campbell and Moyers, it's their profound capacity to provide a timeless framework, a way to navigate a meaningful human life.
They remind us that even in our complex, fast-changing modern world, this ancient wisdom still vividly illuminates our path.
Inviting us to look beyond the surface, beyond the superficial, to find the deeper currents, the universal patterns beneath it all.
So as you go about your day, maybe consider this. If, as Conversations with God suggests, our fundamental purpose is to recreate yourself anew in every moment in the grandest version of the greatest vision ever you had about who you really are.
That grandest vision.
What small, courageous step could you take right now, today, to align just a little bit more with that grandest vision, allowing your own unfolding story to move a little closer to its most authentic, its most blissful expression?
A powerful thought to end on. What's that next small step?